but it's a fact. You know what I mean? How dare them even challenge me, these fighters? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? With their primitive boxing skills. You know what I mean? They're as good as dead.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Wagwan, wagwan, wagwan.
What's up? What's up?
Oh man. Today we're talking about what are we talking about, Rochelle? The new types of
Is the hybrid is hybrid the new type of marriage, the new evolution of relationships?
Ah, good stuff. Well, let's break it down. How is your week so far?
Somebody that I work with very closely tested positive for COVID, so that's just the trifling part of my week. But apart from that, it's been going good. What about you and Ali? How was your week, Dre?
That's trifling. That's like saying somebody catch a cold. That's trifling. Anyway, my week was okay. You should be having a fantastic week. You went to go see that new movie that came out. Don't do no plugs. Don't do no plugs, please. Thank you. You just saw that.
All right, no spoilers. But
No
just
plugs at
know,
all.
like, people were in that movie crying. Okay, like people were full on bawling like them
It's
little
because they
loved
ain't been in the
ones.
movies in a minute, man. That's what it is.
Nah, it was that good though. I'm just a
Yeah.
hard person. That's why I don't be crying, but it was good.
Whatever. All you hard chicks be crying easy. My week was okay though. Not as eventful as yours.
Your phone is
Not as eventful as yours, but it was okay.
Okay.
your phone is
Ali, how was your week?
Yo, I'm so blessed. I got my apartment back that was in a fire
Oh, that's awesome.
this week, so I've just been moving in. God is good. God
Yes.
is amazing.
All the time.
Yes, sir!
Yes.
So Rochelle, I would love for you to give us some examples of these new relationships you're talking about.
All right. So the relationship that I'm talking about is when two people are married. They're married together. However, they literally live separate lives. They probably live in one house, but in different sections of the house. And they do see each other for date nights. If they have kids from different marriages, or if they have kids, then the kids would be in between them, going back and forth in the house, or living in one room, and then they kind of just move back and forth in the house. So nobody sleeps together every night. Nobody's around each other every night. However, when you do want to go around each other, you're able to do so. Each person pays their individual bills. So you're not mixing up with my money is mixing up with your money. So basically two separate lives, but when we want to see each other, we just come together.
That sounds popping.
That sounds like boyfriend and girlfriend, or just like friends with benefits. That don't sound like a marriage to me. What's the sense getting married if you're still living separate? Might as well just continue living separate.
But you're saying that because you see each other all the time, that can lead to divorce. But if you're able to take breaks and live your life and that person live their life, then you can come back and be happier together and all of the good stuff.
You know what also can help not have divorces? You know?
Yeah.
What? What is it?
Not hating your
together.
partner.
Not doing what you say, Alice?
Hating your partner.
What you say, Rochelle?
Not living apart.
Not getting married. Because you ain't going to divorce if you're not married. So if you're in a relationship with a person and you still want your space, you still look, there's a whole lot of things that come with being married, right?
Right.
there are stuff legally that comes with being married, and there are stuff relationally that comes with being married. You customarily, and I'm now, being old fashioned, I see, but customarily when you become married, right? You and the person you marry, you guys live together, you do things, you share things, you share a lot of things, most things, even all things together as much as possible, right? That's what being married
Mhm.
is. When you're in a relationship with a person, you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatnot, you um you you do your own thing. And you guys decide, all right, we're gonna come together and we're gonna go out on a date, or I'm gonna come and spend the night tonight, or you gonna spend the night tonight. Like whatever it is. That's what you do when you're dating. When you're married, it things change. Just like when you were friends, and when you were friends, he couldn't tell you anything, you couldn't tell him anything. There is very little say you had in his life. Same thing for you, very little say he had in your life. Then you guys started dating, and then things graduated. So you start probably kissing, having sex, all these different things, right? And then you get married and you have to graduate again. But you guys want to graduate and not move forward. What
Hmm.
world is that? Now look,
Well, I guess people want to have the best of both worlds, right?
or they want to have the cake and eat it. That is
Yes,
a
cake, eat
trending,
it, and then still have some more cake.
yeah, that's a trending theme with society today. Having their cake and eat it.
Hmm.
Baba, what are you saying? Because I know you love this idea.
Yo, first and foremost, let me represent for the people that believe in marriage, but not in the sense of the way everybody else believes in it by signing a contract. Uh, if I'm 20 and I say I want to sign up with you for the rest of my life to be with you forever, that doesn't mean that I'm still going to feel that way at 30 or 40. Now, I believe that marriage is having raw sex with a person, and we need to take sex that seriously. With that being said, just like you said in the child support episode, Dre, marriage is not a one size fits all. Whatever floats your boat, you should do that. For me personally, I love this space. I don't want somebody to get. I've lived with a woman before and had her say, "Don't touch me," and felt like a stranger in my own house. So I love that idea of having separate homes and still being together. When you need your space, you have your space. When I need my space, if I want to set up my house a certain way, I don't have to get your opinion. If you want to set up your place a certain way, like for instance, my girl right now has a cat, and I don't really love cats. I like cats, but I'm allergic to them. And she loves her cat, and I don't want to live with a cat. I don't like my clothes being filled with lint, cat hair. And we can still be together even though we don't agree on that.
So you said once that marriage is a contract, right? And it's a business, and people don't take it like a business.
Signing the paper. Signing the paper.
Yeah, but if you're saying just because we had sex, we're married, where's the contract?
Oh man, the contract is spiritual. The contract is spiritual.
I just
At
threw
that
this
point.
alley-oop and you did not dunk it. I expected you
What was
to
I
say
supposed to say?
what you said 5 minutes ago. Rochelle, you remember what he said?
He said he doesn't believe in a contract.
No, he said it's a contract. I just threw that alley and you just did a Patrick
My
Ewing
fault.
and
My
finger
fault.
roll
That was
and missed.
my fault. That was a once in a lifetime answer. I forgot about it already.
That is
But
why
yeah.
I don't like talking to y'all if we ain't recording anyway. So if you
Right.
need a contract to be married, because it's a business, every business have a contract, and you sign contracts in business. That's how everybody knows what everybody's role is, what everybody owns, and all these different things. How come when it comes to marriage, which you say it's a business, all of a sudden you don't want to sign no contract.
Because now that I'm older, I realize promising somebody forever is a lie. I promise you to be with you as long as we're happy. If you complaining every minute now, I don't want to be with you no more, and I don't want to have to pay money to get out of being with you. But
So
at the
then
same
don't pay
time,
money to go in.
no, but listen, alimony, there is alimony. There is all types of punishments for men when they get a divorce that women don't necessarily have to go through.
The same
So
punishment.
No,
we got-
it goes both ways. Did you see how
Get
much
'em, girl.
Adele is actually paying her husband every month? Kelly Clarkson, how much money she's paying her husband every month? These women are like forking out like six figures to their
figures
male
to a
counterparts.
million. She feels that a lot.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just alimony. It's whoever is
That was
making
being
the most money. But back to you, Ali. Okay, so you're saying that if 1 minute we're not happy, you're like, okay, we can't be together no more. But because I know in relationships, there are periods when you're probably not happy, but at least you still love that person. And then that's where compromise is. That's where, having communication comes in, and then trying to work it out. Like, why aren't we happy like we used to be? Well, how can we get back there? But it seems as if you're somebody who you don't want to commit, because then you have to now work on yourself, and that person has to work on themselves, and you don't have the time. Is that what you're saying right now?
No, what I'm saying is I've lived with a woman before, and she's literally told me for weeks not to touch her and wanted me to sleep on the couch.
So now you are going to
hold on. Listen. For a place that I paid every single bill for.
Alive.
Baba.
I get that. But you're using one person to baptize everybody, though. You're using one person to baptize everybody. One lady told you that. So now every woman has to pay for the sins of one woman?
I think that in order to maintain respect to a certain degree for myself, I'm not saying this works for everybody, but for myself, in order to attain a certain level of respect, there has to be a certain level of separation. There's a saying that I always love. It's two sayings. I'm going to remember to say them as they come to me. But the first one is familiarity breeds contempt. Does anybody know what that means?
Yes.
We all know what that means.
Brand new.
And the second one is absence makes the heart grow fonder. I love those sayings because those are so true. When you're around somebody all the time, you can start to miss how magical they are. And this separation of homes, it doesn't allow that to be happening. It still makes each other think each other's a prize. So I love that concept.
Bro. There's a whole bunch
Dre,
of...
didn't you say one size don't fit all? True or false?
I did.
Is everybody marriage supposed to be the same?
Listen, my argument as it pertains to you is you want to call people wife, but you don't want to get married. If them is your girlfriend, them is your girlfriend.
In your sense.
Whatever, in the real sense. If they are your girlfriend, they're your girlfriend. And that's that. And that's fine. I don't care.
Adam and Eve wasn't married in the real sense? Is that what you're trying to say? Before they were signing of papers, nobody ever was married?
No. At the time.
Okay.
But at the time, there was no signing of papers. There was a point, there was a time when breaking the glass was a sign that people got married. So if you can imagine today, the sign of being married is breaking the glass, and you saying, I don't want to break no glass. It's stupid. Why we got to break the glass? That's what you're doing. And I'm like, what? So then you're not married. And you're like, yes, I am married. Come married because I said so.
Listen, I would make a great drug dealer because I'm all about skipping the middleman.
No,
I'm
geez.
supposed to listen to a pastor and a contract when I could go straight to God? God,
Watch
please
this.
bless this marriage, and as long as it works and we're both happy, please let's stay true
You
to
see?
each other.
You
I
keep,
just bypassed the middleman, Dre.
you hear you just
But
said
Ali,
what?
nobody is ever going to be happy forever. You're going to have ups and downs. But you are asking for something that is so unrealistic.
No, I'm not
Nobody.
saying-
Are you happy 100% of the time, every day, all day?
I'm at peace 100% of the time.
No, no,
every
no,
day,
no,
all
no,
day.
no. You never said peace of a relationship. You said happiness. So let's talk about that. Are you happy 100% of the time? Because
Nobody's happy 100% of the time.
Exactly, but that is what you're asking for in order to take this person serious. And I think it's unrealistic because you are not even happy 100% of the time. That's what you said. I didn't say that. That's literally based on what you said. You said, if we're not happy 100% of the time, deuces, I'm out.
No, when you have a place of your own, you can retreat to your place and people can build up respect for each other again. You understand
Okay,
what I'm
but then
saying?
when you still come back, if the problem was not resolved, you're still going to be unhappy. Because now we still need to have conversations about what is it that made us reach that place of unhappiness.
Listen, nobody should be able to control your happiness. No outside thing will control your happiness. So nobody should be able to. You make yourself happy, another person makes themselves happy, you guys come together and share joy. You understand what I'm saying?
So my question to both of you right now, Dre and Ali, right? Because both of you are very strong-willed. All of us are strong-willed, right? Or very opinionated people.
No,
Do
I'm
you
not
think
strong.
this is the way?
I've been like bamboo.
I'm tired of you. Do you think this is the new wave, especially with millennials, right? So I believe that a lot of people think like Ali in terms of relationship. Do we think this is the evolution of marriage and the evolution of relationships?
No. I think men have always wanted multiple partners. Men have always wanted the freedom.
Whoa, Dre.
What you say?
Yeah.
Why you quitting wanting your own crib to wanting more than one girl?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now. So, we equate men to a lion, right? Or what other animal we equate men to outside the dogs? I don't know if you use dogs.
Wolf.
Okay.
Yeah, I
fine.
like a dog.
Wolf.
I like a dog.
You
Wolf.
like the dog?
Wolf.
So
The
fine.
wolf.
Since you said dog, which is also a dog, right?
Yeah.
Dogs walk around and sleep with any dog them see fit. Right? If a dog walk and him smell this girl, he sleep with her. He walk and he smells another one, he sleeps with her. Right? And so that's how most men would love to do. Now, if you have a girlfriend and you went to work and sniffed this girl, or you walking on the street and you sniff this girl, and she said, "Oh, me, I'll let you have a piece," because women have told on themselves, and I've said, once they meet a guy, they know if they're gonna give it up, right? So if you have your own place, you are now free to do these things and not have to worry about consequence, because there is no she's coming over to see your girlfriend panties, or coming over to see pictures of you and your girl everywhere, because you did say you don't want her to have any say in the decor of your house, right? So you're gonna make your house a bachelor pad. So whenever you bring anybody over, there's no signs of a relationship going on, because your wife lives over there. Your so-called wife lives over there, right? So I'm just saying, everybody knows when you have your own place and you do your own thing, each individual do their own thing. If you are a promiscuous person, that makes it very easy for you to do whatever it is you want to do, because there's when you live with a person, it's harder to do things you now look. When it's true, when you have arguments, there's nowhere to go. Get up and go outside, right? But to tell me that you want to have your own space and this person has their own space and you guys are married, that don't make no sense. You guys are dating. Again, that's what y'all doing, dating. And you just spent a bunch of money to get to have people eat at your wedding if you had a wedding, or you spent a bunch of money buying a ring which you didn't have to buy because y'all are still dating. Go ahead, Rochelle.
I think who is going to cheat is going to cheat. You can live with that person for so many years. If they want to cheat, they want to cheat. If you want to live separately, just like how you're in a relationship, if that man didn't cheat, if that woman didn't cheat when you're in a relationship, you live separately. I think that can still happen in a marriage, even if you live separately, if you love each other and you respect each other. So I think, yes, it makes it a little bit easier, but I feel like people cheat no matter what. If that's what you were set out to do, you're going to be coming up with creative ways of doing that anyway.
Yep.
So that's true. I agree with you.
Rochelle, may I have to give you enough props for that one there. The best answer me ever hear yourself. That was
wow.
Hold on, Trey, let me answer though. The last episode we had, Shooting the Breeze, Mike said, I don't think marriage is necessary anymore, first and foremostly. I think the world is moving to where we see that marriage is not necessarily, like, it's still sacred, but you don't necessarily have to have a beautiful, functioning relationship by being married. And I think the world is moving towards, not only is this going to be more common, what Rochelle brought up, but it's going to be a top type of relationship because so many human beings are now being satisfied through technology and the roles and these fake girls, these fake dolls, silicone that can talk. I think that still is going to be a top quality relationship to still be with a human being in the future because men are opting out. Some men are opting out totally. Some women are opting out totally from existing with another human being.
Yeah, man. I agree. And that's why I think maybe this is going to be the hybrid where instead of, like a lot of people feel like when you get married, you're putting on this bondage, you're now in the chain and ball and, all these things. I think this is a way where you don't feel as though, you're in ball and chain. However, you do know that you have this person you can rely on, that you're in a commitment with, a contract with. However, you will still have you will not lose who you are as well. So I think this is a good compromise for people who decide, listen, I'm done with those people, but you can still find that middle ground between living together, I'm in your face every day, all day, versus I don't want nothing to do with people, So I think This is a good middle ground.
Dre, here's another thing too I just thought of. You remember we were talking about that couple, he throws his socks everywhere in the house?
Yep.
If
I don't know the couple. Tell me about the couple. I don't know that couple.
A woman was complaining about her man throwing socks all over the floor and never picking up his own socks. If you have your own place, no longer is that the case. You don't have to complain about nobody's space. You go, yo, baby, I don't like the way you keep your place. Come over here. That's it. Simple. My girl, I was living with a shorty. And yo, one time she forgot to flush the toilet. I'm going to see her doodle. You think that would have happened if we didn't live together?
Yeah.
That mistake that wouldn't happen.
It would still happen though. It was just your place or her place. You would have gone over to her place, you don't flush the toilet, or she would have come over to your place and don't flush the toilet.
Nah, but when we both clean in our own place as opposed to relying on the other person to clean it or expectations, then the real.
So she expected you to flush her toilet? She expected you to flush
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I clean the bathroom. I'm not afraid of cleaning. I'm not afraid of cooking. I could cook for myself. And that's another thing. A man could do everything for himself nowadays. You know what I'm saying? A woman can do everything for herself nowadays. So we should get together on the things that we want to get together, as opposed to, you know how much relationships broke up from COVID because people actually had to spend time with each other and wasn't able to go anywhere. I think that of a relationship as, if you guys are meant to be together, you have forever. But say everybody's not meant to be together and you're able to spend 10,000 hours with somebody. The more of that 10,000 hours you burn, the faster the relationship is going to end. And living away from somebody is a way to have more time with them in the longer run, as opposed to always being underneath them crutches.
So listen, me like being underneath crutches. That's the first. Second thing.
You like to what? Did you repeat that?
I like to
What
be
you said?
underneath crutches.
Okay. As every man should.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I don't know what's his problem. Either way, right? Look, you're right. If a guy's gonna cheat or a gal is gonna cheat, they're going to do that. But I do think that, while absence makes the heart grow fonder, like Ali said, right? When the cat's away, the mouse will play.
The mice will play.
Okay, so we can choose which one of these we want to use to describe the living separate scenario, right? But I'm just saying, I don't have a problem with people living apart. I think people, if you want to live apart, live apart. Just don't get married.
But just don't get married.
Yeah. Like
right.
Listen, when you're dating a person, let's say you date a person for 30 years, 20 years, right? And you never get married in all of those 20 years. Eventually, people are going to say, well, what's next? There are some people who would think, what's next? Well, then, you've been married. I mean, you've been together for however long. And you've been, let's say you stayed apart. Usually, if you're together for that long, usually they live together eventually because cohabitation just makes more sense. But let's say you stayed apart for all those years. What's the next step? What's the next step, Miss Ababa?
I think that expectations can kill anything. A woman could get married.
Are you answering my question or are you changing this up?
Yes, I'm answering your question.
A
woman can get married and she'll be like, damn, yo, I feel so unfulfilled. What's the next step? The next step is to not have a next step and be happy with what you have. If what you have is not making you happy, then leave.
Okay, so you have commitment.
If you have hold on, let me put this into the works. If you have a newborn child, I do think you should live together. Yes, I do.
For a newborn?
You have a newborn child, yes.
Why specifically a newborn?
Because the kids need both of their parents at all times. I wouldn't want to miss out on any. I never missed out on any of my daughter's first experiences, and it's the most beautiful thing.
You said newborn. When they're 12, they need their parents still. When they're 5, they need their parents. So why specifically?
Yeah, but it's not as important because, all right, postpartum, a mommy needs a break. You know what I mean? The mother's not necessarily able to work. I know women that have gotten 2 weeks off after they gave birth and had to go back to work.
Listen,
that's true.
In that case, it's harder for a woman to pay all the rent for her own place with a newborn child.
You're making no sense right now.
Denied.
So fine.
How so?
Your girlfriend got pregnant. You're going to leave your apartment now to go live with her, right? That's
no.
If we're walking down this road.
My grandmother told me a man should never live with a woman.
Oh, Jesus. So you're gonna have her come and live with you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So when the baby is 5, you're gonna move out now and leave her in that place and find a new place.
No, at that point,
You're gonna kick out the girl and your child.
After the
No,
baby is
at
no
that-
longer a newborn.
you see, when Rochelle brought this up, she never said anything about kids. So
We're
to this
walking
premise-
down your road. You brought this up, so
Yes.
we're walking down that road. So now you have this girl leave her place and come live with you. And knowing you, you're probably going to tell her, "Don't work for a year, honey. Don't work for a year," right?
And
right?
then you get unhappy.
Uh-huh. Yes. So now she's living with you for a year.
Hold on. If kids are involved, you try to make that thing work for as long as possible. I'm not.
Whether or not you're happy. Whether or not you're happy.
Oh, me? Oh, definitely. I'm trying to make it. Yes, it's cheaper to keep her. Yeah.
I mean, why does a relationship for me? Why does everything you say for a relationship is money? Why?
Hold on. Because it takes money to live in this world. It takes money to have a child. How many people you know had a child without money? I think that if there's a child involved, Dre, now this totally changes the whole situation. When you said marriage and being together, that had no... Well, you know what? I apologize. Rochelle did bring up kids. Rochelle did bring up kids and having the kids bounce back and forth. But I think that if we don't have kids, living together is perfect. Apart is perfect.
So Ali, there are types of situations. I'm going to tell you. So one type is you have two separate places. One is you get like a duplex where it's like 2 or 3 apartments, right? And then let's say you guys bought a 2-family house or a 3-family house, and you live in one section and I live in one section. I pay my bills, you pay your bills.
Do you have kids yet or no?
So in this situation, they had kids. And they had kids even before they got married. So both of them had kids outside of this marriage. And the woman kids live with her, the man kids live with the man. And the kids meet up, the husband and wife, they meet up too, but they have like play dates or whatever. But there are kids involved. So
I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to disagree that living in a duplex is living apart. If you live in the same location, I'm gonna say you live together. Like if you live in a 2,
they don't live together. They literally don't see each other. They don't see each other.
But they're in the same house. They're in the same.
No, one live upstairs, one live downstairs. One either lives to the left of the house, one lives to the right. 2 separate entrances.
Ray, what you
don't
think about
see
that?
each
Is
other.
that living together or no?
If you have your own apartment in the same house.
Yeah.
It's a
like
duplex.
a room, not like 2 rooms back to back. No, I'm talking.
I don't think that's living together. Living together means we go out in the day and when we come back, we're walking around in the same house. When it's bedtime, we're going in the same bed, that kind of stuff. That's living together.
Okay.
If I have what's the difference between you live in a duplex house, right? You buy a duplex house and you rent it out to some stranger. You and the stranger lives together?
No.
If y'all are having sex, yes.
What you say? Go have sex with your tenant?
If you're a dog, yes.
Okay, sir.
So,
I heard you.
Look, there are some relationships in the past that the couple slept in different beds. Because let's say one of the couples, let's say one of the couples, snored loudly, and so they were like, you know what, I can't sleep, so you go and sleep in another room, so I can get sleep and you can get sleep, because you're not sleeping properly, because I'm stopping your nose because you're snoring, I'm elbowing you, I'm kicking you, I'm doing all these different things to stop you from snoring. so I can't get to sleep. So you know what? Let's go and you sleep in a separate room, I sleep in a separate room, and we're cohabitating that way. Whenever we want to have sex, we go and we do our thing, and then you go in your room, I go in my room, whatever. That's fine, right? Because they're still living in the same space. They're still seeing each other every day. That's one of the perks of being married. You're going through life together, right? But if you are going through life and me see you on Tuesday and Thursday, right? And Saturday we go out on a date, and that we're dating. Listen, there is no woman on this planet, unless she's thinking filthy rich, that I'm going to give that kind of living situation with. There's none. I want my woman in my bed at night. I want, when me roll over in the bed, me have something nice and soft to rub upon. That's what I want.
But I'm sure Ali has that right now.
I'm not doing
right,
it
Ali?
with no body pillow.
Yeah. I think that, Dre, what do you say to the men who are married in the same house with their woman, and for weeks and weeks and weeks, because that woman is mad at that man, she don't want him to touch him?
What about men who are angry with the woman and they don't want the woman to touch them? It goes both ways too.
No.
Yes,
That is
yes.
very rare. That's a unicorn.
Men don't think like that. Men don't be thinking like that.
Very much a unicorn.
Yes.
You would think so. Especially if they're finding women outside. They don't want their partner to touch them.
There is very few men that's living with a woman. Very few men living with a woman, even if they have partners outside, is not going to also want the woman that they're living with. 9 times out of 10, they would, unless they're not together anymore. And that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who are together. Right? Now, going back to
some Fauci man.
So going
What
back
does that even mean, though?
I have no idea. This is one that Ali's most confused, and you cannot let it take hold, because you will.
Yeah, talk about Fauci man. That's what we gonna call them, Fauci man. When I want them woman touch them.
So look, I think if you're in a relationship with a woman and she don't want you to touch her, and this is going on for an extended period of time, that means there's a huge problem in the relationship, because women love to have sex. And if you're with a woman and she does not want you to touch her or have sex with her, that means there's a huge problem in the relationship. And whether you're married or not, whether you live together or not, that will still be the same. She won't want you to touch her. So that just means your relationship needs work, and you need to work on your relationship. That has nothing to do with living together. Now, if you live together with this person or don't live together with this person, matter of fact, usually if y'all don't live together, y'all would just realize one day, yo, I haven't seen Rochelle in mad long. Rochelle, what's up? We okay? And she's like, yeah, we good. Right? And that's another thing. Staying apart allows you to not have to work on each other, because it takes work. It takes work to be together. 2 different individuals. Your fart don't smell like your girlfriend's fart, right? 2 different individuals coming together to cohabitate, right? And when you try to go left, she goes right. She goes right, you go left, right? It's sort of like dancing with, doing a choreographed dance, and you guys never practice, right? So
I got a perfect. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying relationships take work. And what I'm hearing is, like I said before, you people want your cake and eat it. You guys don't want to put in the work to be in a relationship. You said it yourself. You wanna be in a relationship as long as it's going good. Okay. Okay. As if no one else wants that. That
If
just
there's no kids
brings to
involved,
me.
I think that for me now, if there's kids involved and I'm not in love, I could still stay with that person because that's what our great grandparents did. You know, they fell in
They
and out of
learn to
love, and
love
they
each
still
other.
stayed. Nah, they probably just also was like, yo, we gotta do this. There's no other way. There's
I
no other
believe
way. We literally won't survive if we don't do it together.
I believe you
And they
can learn
sucked
to
it
love.
up.
I believe you can learn to love a person. But you were gonna ask me a question.
All right, here's a situation I'm going through now. I love my girl to death. She's amazing. Most beautiful woman I've ever met in my life. Just a model citizen. Now for the new year, I want to be plant-based. I don't want
New Year,
anything
you
that
wanna be what?
plant-based.
Uh-huh.
Vegan.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it vegan though because
Okay.
I'm
So
just gonna say
vegetarian.
plant. No, I'm gonna say plant-based. I want to eat plants and fruits only.
Okay. Okay.
Now, because of this, I want my fridge to only be filled with things that I'm able to eat. I don't want to compromise and see chicken or fish or French fries or anything like that in my fridge. What are you telling me I should do, Dre? Compromise and build up the willpower to see stuff like that and pass it by? What would your suggestion be?
Are you a Fauci man? Listen.
Oh my
you
God.
decide-
I'm getting me back with my one.
if you decide, right, that you're no longer eating meat, what are you gonna
Yeah.
do when you walk into the store? What are you gonna do when you're walking down in the supermarket looking for your plants to go buy? Meat is in there.
That's different from it being cooked and readily, and not that I'll eat meat, but I'll backslide on things like fish. I'll backslide on things like fried foods and stuff
so,
like that. Yeah.
So listen here, okay?
Talk your wisdom. Tell me the wisdom, Dre. Teach me.
So what I have identified based on conversations we have had on this podcast, you have commitment issues. And you will find different things to use as your basis for detaching because of your commitment issues. So you want your cake and eat it. We have already established that. And in order to get your cake and eat it, now you said, you know what, we can't cohabitate because I don't want you. You're disguising your selfishness under the guise of you don't want to hinder her and eating her meat. You didn't say it yet, but I'm sure you would have gotten there. You don't want to hinder her opportunity to eat meat, right? And cook her food how she want, whatever. Exactly, right? So you know what? I'm gonna go over on my place. You have your place. Blah 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 blah. Whatever.
Dre,
You have commitment issues, and
you got me, Dre. You got me. I didn't get a cell phone until they stopped giving contracts. You got me. You're absolutely right.
what are
Something
you
to the
talking about?
conversation.
You had cell phones. You sure, please?
Ali pick and choose which contract you want to sign. Okay? Ali is very tricky. But my thing is, when you met this beautiful, wonderful human being that is your partner, Ali, was she plant-based?
No.
Okay. Do you want
No.
her to change to plant-based with you?
That's such a selfish thing to do. I do, but
Okay,
it's such a selfish
but your
thing to
question was
say.
a very selfish question. But it never
Yeah.
stopped you from asking it. Because you get up one day and decide, I don't want no more meat. And now the poor lady must throw all her meat out of our fridge because you decide, say, today you only want your fruits and veggies. How used to me, or how me go stay, and yeah, I'm not throwing out my meat. So we
Well,
can do
to
one
be
of two
honest,
things.
he didn't do
You
that.
can buy a second fridge. You can buy a second fridge, and you can keep. Huh?
This is the problem with marriage and be saying, yo, till death do us part.
No, that's the
Because
problem with relationship. It's all about compromise and making sure that both parties are okay. It's okay. Conflict
hold on,
will
listen,
arise.
let me say something. The person who I was 10 years ago, I was eating chicken 10 years ago. I was wilding out. I was going to the club all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not that person anymore. And
Absolutely.
sometimes people don't grow together. Sometimes they grow apart.
Cross.
I agree.
I think it's selfish for me to say, yo, come and live with me, and you're not able to put this in my fridge. And Dre, let me ask you a question.
Well,
I have
before you
commitment
do that,
issues,
before
which
you
is-
do that, before
yeah.
you do that,
Yeah.
it is true when the till death do us part. Oh, let me take that back. It has been said that when the till death do us part concept of marriage, that's not true. Yeah, that's not true because the Bible said, it's till death do you part. So
That's said in
that's
the
not
vows, right?
no. The concept marriage in the Bible is one partner for the rest of your life. So that's not true. And people used to live till they were hundreds of years in the Bible. So what I was about to say was the idea about till death do us part was when people used to die at 30 and 40. Right? That you were old and gonna die when you're at 30, but till death do us part, that was from Bible days, and there's way before people were living that old. And
Yeah.
people were living, I think Moses was in his hundreds when he died. No, not Moses. What is it? I think maybe
Yes.
Aaron or
And it was
something like
probably
that.
because they wasn't eating crazy.
No, they were
And it's probably
we don't
because
know. We don't know.
powers that be didn't have the food all crazy back then as they do
That's
now.
true.
But let me ask you this, Rochelle and Dre. Okay, it's selfish to want your own place, your cake, and eat it too. Let me ask you guys this. When is it okay to be selfish, or should you forever be putting somebody else's needs in front of yours?
Nobody said to put nobody's needs in front of you. I never said that. Never once I said that. I said you find a middle ground. If
So
I
when is
love
it okay
you,
to be selfish?
hold on. If I love you and you love me, I'm never going to have a selfish moment because I'm always going to think it's about us. It's about our future. If at any point in time I'm no longer in love with you, then I'm going to say, okay, well, I need to be putting Rochelle first. I need to be putting Ali first. Then it's never love because love is an unselfishness. Love is putting other people before yourself. Love is actually seeing other people happy. And it doesn't mean you put people before you, but it means that their happiness means you're happy. Seeing them smile, seeing them satisfied, seeing them fulfilled makes you fulfilled. But you will never get there if you never know love, you will never understand what I'm saying. Just like how you love your kid, Ali, and when your kid is happy, it makes you the happiest person in the world. You never said, "Oh, when am I gonna get my own way?" When you're around your kids, have you ever said that when it comes to your daughter? Have you ever said,
Yes,
"Oh my God"? Every time you're watching,
I get my own way after she falls asleep. Now I could watch rated R.
Oh my God, you have proven my point. When it comes to our kids, their happiness is ultimately our happiness. And I'm not talking when they're being selfish and being bratty. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking when they are amazing and they're just succeeding in life and you are just seeing them succeed. And because of their success, it fulfills you. You feel so amazing to say, yo, that's my child. That's the same way you're going to feel about your partner. That's my husband. That's my wife. Because their success, because they're happy, because they are doing what they need to do, it brings out your fulfillment. And I think when we're selfish, that is when it's all about, yo, when is my time? When is I'm going to do this? No, you're not, that's not love. Maybe that's lust, but that's not love. What about you, Andre? What do you think?
What do I think about
When is your time to be selfish?
When is it okay for you to be selfish, or is it never
when
okay?
When you're in a loving relationship, it's never okay. When you're in a loving relationship, and I said this before, the pastor that married me did me this great service when we were doing marriage counseling. Pastor Cassamy. Big up Pastor Cassamy. Pastor Cassamy said to me one day, Andre, your job is to see to 100% of your wife's needs. And right when the same silence, he did the same thing. And just when I was about to say, well, what about mine? He turned to her and he said, and your job is to see to 100% of his needs. So if all your needs are being taken care of, you don't need to worry about your needs anymore. If when you come home, dinner is on the table, right? The house is clean, the dinner is on the table, all you gotta do is eat and then go and take a bath and watch TV or whatever. What more? Well, that's real, simplistic. But the point of the matter is, when you are taking care of each other's needs, then there's no need for you to think about your needs because she already got you. So there is no point in time when you're in a loving relationship, you need to be selfish. Or that was the question, selfish. Now, if you're just dating and boxing about, yeah, because there's no real commitment there, right? If you're just dating, yeah, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like, matter of fact, go home. Take your stuff and go home. It's me time now. Right? When you're in a loving relationship, which is usually what marriage relationships are, when you're in a loving relationship.
Or should be. Mm-hmm.
Right, which should be. When you're in a loving relationship, the two parties aren't usually concerned. Now, there are people like that, people who don't understand that concept, right? And it's almost like the trust exercise where you go up on a table and they tell you, fall back, we're going to catch you. You either trust us to catch you or you just not going to fall back. So it's the same thing. You either trust your partner to get you, to got you, right? Or you're not going to trust them and it's going to be tit for tat. You're counting, and whenever you count, the scale is always going to be imbalanced. So, long answer to your short question, Ali. There's never a time when you should be in a healthy, loving relationship. And you said you love your girl. So.
All right, Dre, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
No, Ali, I want you to answer. Ali, answer that question for yourself, though. Before you ask another question, I want to hear what is your take on that. Is there a time for you to be selfish?
Yeah, yes. I think that for your mental health, at times, if you're not okay, then you're not going to be able to take care of the family. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm saying to myself, I'm going to take the first 2 weeks and take a break from all technology, my phone, everything. Now, if I have a wife, per se, who is like, yo, it's all about the team, then maybe she won't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But that's something I need to do for me. I was gonna ask Dre this. Dre, it's Christmas Day. Wifey want you to stay home with the kids. You have a unbelievable opportunity, 2 G's, but you gonna miss Christmas dinner. Now, the selfish side of you says, yo, I need to pay these bills. This 2,000 don't come normally. And the sharing side of you says, yo, it's Christmas Day. I got to be with the kids. What are you doing?
Watch this. I'm glad you posed that question. I'm about to blow your mind. Christmas Day. Christmas Day. Right?
Yeah.
$2,000
Wifey
on the
needs
table.
you to be with the kids. The whole family's over.
Christmas Day, $2,000 on the table. My wife loves Christmas. $2,000 on the table.
You're gonna miss the whole family dinner.
I say to my wife, babe, Christmas Day I got a booking, and it's $2,000. You know what she's gonna say? Oh man. All right, I get it. You know why that's gonna be her response? One, she knows me, and she knows that the most important thing in my book is making sure food's on the table. That's the first thing. And because of that, she would be more concerned to make sure that I feel okay going out to get that bread, even though she wants me home. Because at the end of the day, $2,000 in one day, for a lot of people, it's not no money at all. But for most people, it is. Right? And so to make sure that $2,000 is in the kitty, we can have dinner, we can have Christmas dinner the next day. Because Christmas is the 25th.
There you go.
Christmas
That's
is the 25th.
true.
The dinner is a dinner. We could have the dinner another day. We could have the dinner the day before Christmas. Right?
Yeah.
So when you are in tune, and I think Ravi told you this before, let me tell you something. I remember when me and my wife got together. Every New Year's, we would spend New Year's together. And when it hit, what is it, 12 midnight, we would jump up, we would do the hooray, whatever, and she would kiss me every single New Year. Since I started my business, I've worked every single New Year. She even complained about the fact that I have worked every single New Year. So we spend New Year's on the phone, but I've not been inside my house for New Year's in the last 6 years. She understands. When it was time to buy the house, she didn't worry about the dinner. She had to worry about what was in the bank. When all the kids needs coats and shoes and whatever, the time we spent at dinner don't buy that. What buys the coats and the shoes is the time I spend out grinding. So you're gonna listen. Nothing worthwhile gets achieved without sacrifice. And sometimes the sacrifice is the time that you have to spend with your family. I've come to grips with that. I'm fine with missing time with my family if that means my daughter gets to do whatever it is she wants to do that makes her happy. I'll go out and I'll go hustle and get the bread, put it on the table, and then she can go and she can make a peanut butter sandwich. She can make French toast. She can do whatever. But my job is to make sure that whatever she needs or wants, she can have it. And sometimes I got to sacrifice time spent with them, and I'm good with that.
Okay, I like that answer.
And also too, I think that is where communication is so important. Because if Dre's just doing this, but no communication with his wife, that could cause a rift. but having clear and open communication. Baby, you know I love you. You know I'm going to put you first. However, these bills, right? Or they already know that. So therefore, again, Ali, it's not even him being selfish. Him going out to work is not him being selfish. It's him actually thinking about the future and about his family. So you pose the question to say, you know, it's an opportunity and you're going to be selfish. No, you're not. You're putting your family first in this decision because you know at the end of the day, this is going to pay this bill. At least your wife don't have to work any extra hour this week because I got you with this one-time gig. So even in that, you were being selfless.
I agree, but Dre kind of ducked that question now that I realized it because his wife is so compromising and she loves him so much. But the real question I posed, Dre, was she needs you at this dinner.
Okay. All right. So So fine.
She needs you at this dinner. The families, the in-laws, everybody's there.
Yeah. All
for
right,
this one night.
So let's change the parameters. So it's we have guests and blah 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 blah, right? So I wouldn't go to work that day. It depends. When did I find out about this booking?
Ooh. If you found out about it
the day of?
Last minute. Yeah.
Nah, so I'm not going.
Okay.
But if I find out with enough time, we reschedule in that dinner.
I like that. Rochelle, let me ask you this. Man of your dreams. Abs, beard, full head of hair, amazing job, fulfills all of your sexual fantasies, talks to you about your life, really, truly cares about you, will go the extra mile to be romantic for you, and doesn't want to live with you. What are you doing?
Good luck. I'm staying with that man. He can live his best life wherever he want to be. I live my best life wherever I am. I'm good. He still paying my bills? He gonna pay my bills?
That's a little bit far because in these scenarios.
No.
Exactly.
If he gonna pay my bill, hold on. If he pay my bills, fulfilling all my sexual desires, and he's doing everything, baby, you can live anywhere you want.
No, listen, is the scenario where you said what's happening nowadays, is that the case where the men are paying for their bills? I don't think so. Like each person.
No, but I'm saying, hold on. You asked me a question, and then I asked you, is he paying my bills too? Because if this man is paying my bills,
he's the most amazing man you ever met.
But he can't be so amazing if he's not trying to pay my bills, though. How amazing really is he? He really not that amazing. He's not that amazing.
Yo, money is everything for you, Rochelle? How you talking about money?
First of all, I have never said money is not important to me. Never have I ever said that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, for this man to be, that's why, one of the reasons for this man to be the man of my dreams is that this man is holding me down. Anybody can give me amazing sex. Who's that? First of all, it happens in your mind first. If my mental ability... So if you have my mental, the sex is going to be amazing anyway. But you see, when that money comes with that mental, now you have me.
Gold digger. There's
no gold digging around here. It's only the facts of life.
We'll call it old school.
This is the facts of life. This is the facts of life. The man is the
provider. The woman is the nurturer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I want to be pet and pampered. I want to be treated like a woman. I want my doors open. I want everything. Don't listen. I am independent, but I am willing to step back if I find the man who is willing to step up. But if no nigga ready to step up, I ain't trying to step back. So there's a difference.
So the separation only will work for you if he pays all the bills.
If he holds me down with paying the bills, nigga, you can live anywhere. I don't care.
So
we don't even need to meet. Just pay my bills.
So you're saying, Rochelle, as long as you're saying A man could do whatever he want with you, long
Yeah,
as he's
yeah.
paying your bills.
Pay my bills. You live your life, I live
But
my life. I'm
she
good.
said we don't even have to meet. That's
I
what she
know.
just
We don't
said.
even
So
have to
now she
meet.
took it too
You
far.
can cash out me. I do Zelle. I do. Listen, this is
I think
2021.
listen, I think that so I want to say this. A relationship where two people live separately can work, but I
Yeah.
will say this, financially it is dumb. But some people believe that the money is worth the peace, and I'm not going to argue with that. My boy just told me it's dumb to buy sneakers for $400, but they make me happy. So what is it to tell somebody that what they want to do is dumb? I don't, you know what I mean? It's hard to tell somebody that their peace of mind is not worth paying double rent.
You have a point.
So you're saying that? Well, look, I'm not saying it's dumb to live separate, because that's ultimately what the conversation started about, right? It's not dumb
Yeah.
to live separate, right? I'm saying, don't tell me y'all are married if y'all are living apart. What was the purpose of being married? Because you could stay together and live apart without being married. So what was the purpose of being married if you guys are still married? Marriage is one. Look, there are a lot of components to do with marriage, and obviously marriage is important, right? Because the homosexual society fought hand, tooth, and nail to get the right to be married. You're now telling me that you want to be married, but you want to act single. Then be single. But when you married, being married comes with certain things. Being married has certain connotations with it. You want to be married, but live a single life. Then just be single and don't be married. Because people like you who go get married, right? I must commend you. If you're still young, so I don't know what you're gonna do. But if you are able to hold out and never get married, I tip my hat to you. Because people like you who capitulate and then go get married is part of the reason we have 50% divorce rates. Some men like you probably got married to the girl because he wanted to sleep with her. Right? And then he slept with her, and then COVID hit, and now he's like, yeah, I don't even like her teeth. Damn, I don't even like her voice. Her voice always sounded like this. End of COVID, now we got 12 million divorces.
Because Dre, we have to remember too, before COVID, everybody was working 20 hours a day. So you only saw each other when it was time to sleep. So you really didn't spend time with each other. A lot of people, right? So now in COVID, like, you're not going to work, I'm not going to work. We're going to be in the house every day, all day. That really strained everybody. Or a lot of people, a lot of relationships.
Listen, when you're married to a person, usually you like being around that person.
You would hope so.
A lot of people get married because, again, you're in a relationship and you're like, what's next? Well, let's get married. And so you get married, and to cope, you do work 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours a week. And then on the weekends, oh, I'm going to go hang out. I'm going to go play golf for 9 hours.
Right.
Or I'm going to go spend the day at the spa with my girls. And so the only real time y'all spend is just
sleeping
before y'all go to bed. And it's boom, boom, room time. Right?
Yeah.
COVID hit and you can't go nowhere. And you're like, oh, crap. I can't go nowhere. I got to deal with her mouth all day. And so a lot of people never really liked being around each other. But because they were able to run around, he can fly someplace and go skiing for the weekend. He doesn't have to see his woman for the whole weekend. Right? She whenever she's mad, she can go out drinking with her girls, and she come back and she's twisted or whatever. And whatever people do. I don't know what people do. I'm just making stuff up based on what I see on TV. Right? So you have all these dynamics that you had to escape. Ali had his own apartment. Quarantine hit, he got to stay where he is. Right? We got a lockdown going on. You can't be out on the road unless you're an essential worker. So he got to stay there. And 2 weeks he's pulling his dreads out because he can't go anywhere. That's what happened to a lot of relationships. A lot of people after COVID, well, not after, now there's a lot of people going through divorces because they had to stay home and deal with each other and they don't want to deal with each other. And so now they're getting divorces. A lot of people I know, friends, got divorced.
Yep.
Say that again. We both talked. All three of us talked at the same time.
No, I just said a lot of people I know, a lot of their friends got divorced because, you know, they realized they didn't really want to be with each other. But it's easy to fake it and the rouge can keep going because we have things to take up our time. Right? We can go to Dave and Buster's with the boys and spend the day. Like I said, you can go golfing for 9 hours. Then when you come back, I gotta go someplace with the kids. And all we have many different things we use to occupy our time so we don't have to do the things we don't want to do. COVID hit and 80% of those things got taken away. You can't be in the house with your woman and not talk to her for 6 months. But you can barely talk to her because what? I'm at work. I got so much things to do, hon. I can't talk right now. Let's catch up on my way home. Oh, the train was so loud I didn't call you. I'm home now. What's going on? Oh man, I gotta go jump back online because I got some deadlines I gotta meet. Like there are so many different things that people use to get away from each other. They didn't have those excuses during COVID.
All right, so Dre, let me ask you this. You fall in love with your wife, the same person who she is, and y'all have separate places, and she has a dog and a cat. And we all know, for those who don't know, Dre don't like living with animals.
And bro,
what do you do? Do you make her move into you with your place with the animals, or do you tell her to get rid of the animals? Because either way is going to be selfish for one person.
Does she want to live with me?
She wants to live with you, but she loves her animals and she wants to bring her animals. And you knew she loved her animals when you first met her.
Yeah, so then we're at the impasse. I don't want to live with animals and you want to live with me. What's more important, the animals or me? If the animals are more important.
So you're breaking up with her.
So if we don't live together, we can't stay together?
Well, this is what the whole conversation was about. Exactly.
No, the conversation was about marriage, not living together.
Okay, you want to get married to her. Yes.
Oh,
you want to get married.
So we're getting married. Okay, so we're getting married. Yes. So I've been with this woman for all these years, right? I've been with her for all these years. Now we're about to get married. Now I have a problem with the animals?
No, you've been had a problem, but you wasn't living with her. Now y'all are thinking about cohabitating or staying apart.
So
no kids involved yet.
If I know the girl I'm with love animals and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I broke up with her.
No, I'm either going to compromise or we're leaving. Because this is part of her, right? So if I want to keep her, I'm either going to have to compromise. And if she have a dog and a cat, then she going to have to probably compromise too and have just one. Whichever one is the easiest one to deal with, because me now get up out of my... I said I wouldn't be going into my dialect. I am not waking up early in the morning to go walk a dog, right? And a lot of times, the guys have to do the grunt work, the stuff that's uncomfortable. The guy gets saddled with that. I'm not waking up out of my bed to go walk a dog. I'm not cleaning up dog poop. I'm not doing any of that. So you want to
All right,
live,
what if you're allergic to the dog?
then that's different. That's my health. So if I'm allergic to the dog,
But you love the girl.
then she needs to decide if she want to marry me. If she want to marry me, then we can't have a dog because I'm allergic. I won't be
And y'all have
coughing,
to
But the
live
thing
together.
is, in the first place, you wouldn't even be in a relationship together.
Right,
Because
exactly.
every time you go around that person,
Yep.
your allergies are going to act up. Like, nah, I
Yep.
can't be. That would be from the first month. You wanna?
No, not
it wanna-
necessarily outside or when she's at your house, but she have a coating a dog here when you go to her house.
But that's what I'm saying, Ali. It wouldn't have to reach that deep to say we're gonna get married. This is something that we would have had to address way earlier in the relationship, especially if it's allergies that you can't help that. So, to me, I think you're very picky with this question. But I think when you're before you even talk to somebody, you find out, oh, are you into pets? Oh, I'm not a pet person. Like, so I will never date somebody like Andre. Andre, no, he's not gonna wake up to want no dog. I'm sure he's not gonna be attracted to a woman that has 2 dogs. Like, or like, even if he finds her physically attractive, going by her and seeing the 2 dogs, later on he's gonna be like, yeah, I really can't deal with her because these 2 dogs. Like, some people
Let me
make
tell
that
you something.
decision very, very earlier on in relationships.
My wife loves animals. Growing up, if there was a stray animal around, my wife would go out and my wife
Buy
would
stuff
go out.
for it.
Yeah, the animals would end up at her house. I remember before, right when we just got together, there was this dude in Harlem. He had pit bulls. He used to fight his pit bulls. And his dogs were vicious looking, right? He brought his dogs around and she jumped down and was all in this pit bull face that everybody know these dogs are fighting dogs. And I look at her and I said, look here, if he attack you, do not look to me.
Fight!
Okay?
That's true love. That's true
So-
love right there.
So while she's playing with the dog, I'm looking at the dog and I turn to the guy and I'm like, yo, bro, that's blood on your dog? He's like, oh yeah, I must have missed that spot. Okay? Now, if that dog is dead, that means the other dog is dead. And we're talking about pit bulls. Mama ain't raised no fool, okay? That said, my wife loves animals, and we have 2 betta fish right now, and that's because she bought them for the kids' birthday gifts. You know, one of my kids had a birthday, and the gift to the other kids were betta fish. That's why we got betta fish right now. There's no pets in my house. We had a cat when we first, again, here we talk about compromise. When we first got married, we had a cat. And she sneezed and sneezed and sneezed and sneezed and coughed and all sorts of jazz. Right? And I tell her, look, you're allergic to the cat. You're allergic to the cat. No, it's not the cat. It's not the cat. Leave the cat alone. It's not the cat. Right? She ended up having to get rid of the cat. I was excited because I'm like, good, ain't no cats gonna be in the house. Now I could have lived with a cat because you get the litter thing and the fragrance litter, and you know the cats, they kind of mind their own business, right? But a dog is very involved. I can't do it. I never lived with an animal before, and I'm not, it don't make no sense. That's an extra bill for what? Before I have animals in my house, let's have some kids. I'm not one of those who think my animal is a part of my family. Nah, it's an animal.
Well, my woman, I love her to death. I've never, ever met another woman like her. And at the same time, she has animals that I'm allergic to. And I wouldn't give it up just because I'm allergic to those animals, because I've never met
You ain't
another
that
human being
allergic. That's why.
Huh?
You ain't that allergic. That's why.
No, I am. My nose, I'm talking about nose stuffed up, past stuffed up. I'm talking about hair on clothes all the time.
That's not allergic.
You know what I mean?
That's annoying.
Yo, bro, I'm telling, it's past annoying. It's like, if it's your pet peeve, it's one of the worst things ever, yo. That's my pet peeve, especially when I wear black. I don't like lint, nothing on my clothes. But I would sacrifice and be with her because she's one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met in my life.
I think you're using specific opportunities to upstage me. But guess what? I don't care, man. I ain't living with no animals, man.
Yo, that's funny.
Well, I'm surprised. I thought Rochelle was a conventional girl. I was surprised to hear that she was okay with a man doing his thing once he's paying the bills. I was definitely surprised to hear that. But for me, like I said, if we're married, we're gonna do what married people do. If we're not married, then we're gonna do our own thing. And like this one thing is definitely gonna be consistent. Do you? So if you want to live the way you want to live, then don't talk to me about marriage. Because if we're getting married, I'm gonna have to buy you a ring, and I'm not buying you a ring. I'm not spending thousands of dollars buying you a ring for you to go live in your own apartment, for you to go live in your own house and me living in my own house. For that, I'm gonna do that on my own. I'm gonna do that without buying you a ring. So why am I buy you a ring for? So I do not agree with living separate. If you didn't get that from this whole conversation, I do not agree with living separate from one another while married. If you're married, you're gonna do what married folks do, and if you don't want to do what married folks do, stay single, because you're part of the problem with this divorce rate.
All right, I'm gonna say marriage is not a one size fits all. You watch I Love Lucy, they had two separate beds. I think of marriage as having raw sex with somebody now. I take it that serious. You can call me crazy. It's cool. For the rent's sake, if you're not able to afford it, it's crazy. But for peace of mind, yo, I've always lived with somebody my whole life. I want to live by myself for the first time, and I want to experience my creative direction over my whole house. I don't need you telling me what you want, where you want. I want to be selfish in that sense. I want to create my own space, and yo, you can sleep over every night. I can sleep over by you every other night. But we can live together separately and still be madly in love.
Okay. So my take is, I agree with both of you. I think marriage is a commitment, and it is something that you love that person, you want to make that person happy, you want to see that person happy. And I think you don't have to be confined to seeing each other every day, in the same house every day, being each other's face every day. I think if both of you respect each other, love each other, you can do so in the same bed. But if I don't love you, I don't respect you, I can cheat on you as much as we're sleeping together every night, seeing each other every day. I can still find time to cheat if that's what I want to do. So I don't think living in the same physical building is going to deter one's love or decides if you should be married or not. I think you can have both and still be happy, fulfilling lives, and giving each other a break when you're too much, but coming back together and just being amazing together when you're both refreshed and renewed.
Ooh, that was great. I love those answers. I have one more specific example of my life why this works also. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and right now I'm currently fighting to have her twice 2 weeks out of every month. I want to have a space for her, and I don't necessarily want her to see another woman in my life at the age she is now. Not saying in the future she's not going to know daddy as a girlfriend, but right now I want her to be selfish in the idea of knowing, damn, I have my mom and my dad. I don't have to feel this other pressure from another woman. And the role I have to play in comparing her to my mother, I want her to just specifically see mom and dad. And when my daughter's around, my girl won't necessarily sleep over. So I think that's another beautiful way that it can work.
When you
we're on
stop
IG.
the rubbish?
We're on IG. What you want to say, Jay? What you want to say, Dre?
Bro. Everyone who's listening can hear you reaching for excuses to get away from the woman to get away from living with the woman. Like, you're saying all these nice things, wonderful woman, can't ever find another one like her, but I ain't trying to live with her. Come on, dude.
Dre, you've never experienced this, but I grew up with my parents bringing other partners around, and I hated it. I completely hated it. But don't know how that
partners. It's your number one partner. It's not.
Yeah,
other
you don't
partners.
think it was their other? There was their number one partners too. It was their number one partners.
That's not
at the
what
same
you
time.
said. You said, well, you said what at that time?
When I was younger and my parents would bring other people around, I felt terrible on the inside. I did not like the way I felt. Like, this is not my dad. This is not my mother. What's going on?
So this is what, and I guess we didn't talk about this, right? So this is what you're doing. You're teaching your daughter how it is to live with separate parents. Why aren't you looking at it to say, you know what? Me and your mom ain't together, but this is how we should have been. I love this lady. She loves you because you're my child. You remember we talked in the manhood episode about Ravi.
Yeah.
Ravi, his fiance, she had children. Ravi was around. Now Ravi is playing the role of the dad, which is how it's supposed to be. When they got together, I think her children were the age of your daughter, or a little bit older, maybe.
And I'll go further and say Ravi's situation is different from the one I'm speaking of. This is my actual child versus Ravi stepping in to be a father, which is amazing. I would say kids need their fathers no matter what, and in this scenario, I'm still the father. But I'm saying for her, our daughter, to see another woman, comparison is the thief of joy. Now she's going to be comparing this other woman to her mom.
There will
which I don't
be another woman.
But she doesn't necessarily, at her fragile age right now, she doesn't necessarily, when she's not able to process what breaking up is and why parents aren't together, she doesn't necessarily have to see that.
You guys are not breaking up.
We broke up already. I'm saying to me, it's like, I'm 9 years old, right? Let me put myself in my 9-year-old shoes. I don't understand what breaking up is. I don't understand why people will have a kid and not be together. All I want is my mommy and my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a kid. I'm a child. Rochelle, what you say about
love?
Rochelle, what you say about that? I'm full of shit, or does that make sense?
So this is very tricky when it comes to kids and relationships because no kid wants to see their mom and dad not be together, right? And many times because of that, they're going to feel some type of way, even if this had nothing to do with them, even if it's, they tend to blame themselves. They tend to just do a lot of internalization because they're so young and they're idealistic, right? So I think it's very, very tricky. So I think if you're not serious about your partner, I don't think you should ever bring them around your kids. I think the only time you should bring somebody around your kids, it's when you're like, yeah, this is a person I want my kids to be comfortable around. But bringing everybody around them, no, I would not do that.
So how does your wife or your girlfriend that you love, how does she feel that my boyfriend that I love so much have a child and I can't associate with this child?
I never
There's
said
a
she can't
component.
associate. I said sleep over. When my daughter's like 12 or 13 and she understands dynamics and relationships a little bit more, yes. I think between 5 and 11, it's too fragile. But my girl has met my daughter and she loves her. And my daughter loves my girl. And that doesn't necessarily mean she has to know, yo, daddy has another girl. But Dre, you have never experienced that, so you'll never understand.
Denied.
Your parents stayed together.
You got a point.
Right. Yo, this is Gwan Podcast, wickedest podcast in America, all across the globe. Right, Dre?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yo, Rochelle, thank you. You are a blessing. We need that female perspective. Dre, you are a blessing. I love your opinions.
And Ali, you're a blessing. We love your opinions. Even though Andre called them most confusion, but we love them all the more.
Yo, you can email us if you want at wagwanpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram. We're on all major streaming platforms. You know how we do. It's Wagwan.